In this video, we are looking at the passage on page 7 of the textbook. This is a considerably longer passage. It's also a science text, so it is a little more difficult, I think, than some of the passages we've read. This seems to be increasing in difficulty as we move through this book. It says to read the passage, then answer questions 1 through 4. Have you ever touched a plant in a park or in someone's yard and then had blisters and itching the next day? You may have touched poison ivy or poison oak. Those are two poisonous wild plants found in gardens, yards, and parks. There are many other types of dangerous plants and fungi that can be found in everyday places. The datura, also known as Jimson weed or thorn apple, is another type of dangerous plant. Any part of the datura can be poisonous if it is crushed. The poison affects eyesight. It can cause difficulty breathing and an irregular heartbeat. Ingesting large amounts of datura can cause unconsciousness and even death. Some wild mushrooms are also poisonous. Eating wild mushrooms is a common type of poisoning. It is hard to tell harmless mushrooms from poisonous ones since they often look alike. For that reason, people should eat only mushrooms bought in stores. Do not eat mushrooms that grow in yards, gardens, or parks. Poisonous mushrooms can cause violent illness and even death. Even some houseplants are dangerous. Be sure that young children and pets do not eat the leaves of houseplants. They may be poisonous. The following common houseplants have poisonous leaves: philodendrons, hyacinths, peace lilies, and poinsettias. Plants and fungi may lack claws and fangs, yet some are irritating, dangerous, and even deadly. Avoid risks by finding out more about the poisonous plants and fungi that may be around you. So we have a passage with 5 paragraphs. So I bet you can picture the diagram I'm about to draw. There's my topic, main idea box, or it will be. And then I'm going to bring 5 spokes off of this box. There are 4, and I'll put a 5th one right here. It doesn't matter. It's just wherever you want to put them. So on these types of passages, I'm going to wait on my topic and main idea. I want to look at the details first because that's going to help me figure out these 2 pieces of information. So let's look at this first paragraph. I'm looking for the main idea of the first paragraph. Have you ever touched a plant in a park or someone's yard and then had blisters or itching the next day? You may have touched poison ivy or poison oak. So we're talking in this paragraph about these 2 plants. So I'm going to say for paragraph 1, and remember when I'm writing main ideas, I write the whole sentence. You may have touched poison ivy, and boy do I know that one, or poison oak. I am very much allergic to both of these. My father could pull these out with his bare hands and it didn't bother him. I just get near them and I'm covered in blisters. Okay, so let's look here at the description of these two. We have they grow in they grow in parks or someone's yard. They cause blisters and itching. They're found in gardens, yards, and parks. And then it goes on to say there are many other dangerous plants and fungi. But we're just looking at poison ivy and oak. Here's another detail you may not have seen. You get this by touching these plants. So these are spread by touch. So let me just go ahead and say that. Okay, it's found in gardens, yards, and parks. Um, and it causes blisters and itching. And that is the paragraph number 1 about poison ivy and poison oak. Again, I want these main ideas in yellow. So that's the main idea of paragraph 1. Okay, let's look at paragraph 2. The datura, also known as Jimson weed or thorn apple, is another type of dangerous plant. So the datura is a dangerous plant. And it's telling me just a few facts about datura. It's also known as Jimson weed or thorn apple. Any part can be poisonous. You have to crush it. It can affect eyesight, breathing, and heartbeat. Ingesting, that means swallowing, large amounts of datura can cause you to be unconscious or even die. This fella's bad news. And I'm going to put it right here because I need some space for it. So paragraph 2, main idea is that datura is another type of dangerous plant. Main idea sentence. And then let's get some details, some facts about this one. It is also known as Jimson weed. This is the name my grandmother used. Or thorn apple. I didn't know thorn apple. Um, it's any part of the plant can be dangerous if it's crushed. It can affect eyesight, breathing, and heartbeat. It is dangerous if ingested, and ingested means eaten. You have to swallow it. It can cause unconsciousness. I'm just going to say coma. That's easier to write. Or death if ingested. So this plant is not poison ivy. It's not poison oak, but it is dangerous. And let's go ahead and highlight here and put some details in blue. So far, we've learned about 3 plants that are dangerous. One of them is deadly, can be deadly. So let's look at paragraph 3. Some wild mushrooms are also poisonous. Eating wild mushrooms is a common type of poisoning, And let me just go ahead and highlight these as I go. This is poison by eating them. It's common to have this type of poisoning. It's hard to tell harmless mushrooms from poisonous ones since they often look alike. For that reason, people should eat only mushrooms bought in stores. Do not eat mushrooms that grow in yards, gardens, or parks. These poisonous mushrooms can cause violent illnesses or even death. So, let me just keep going down this way for paragraph 3. And there's no particular order on this one. I need to turn back to my page in my book so I can not have to make you sick by flipping back and forth. Oh goodness, guys, I am tired today. It's been a long day. Okay, paragraph 3. Some wild mushrooms are poisonous. Toxic, noxious. Remember those synonyms from lesson 1. And then here are the facts on this one, the details that support this main idea. If they're eaten, they can cause violent illness or death. So these also, like datura, have to be ingested. Good and bad mushrooms often look alike. So you can't really tell by looking at them. I guess a botanist could, a person who's an expert, but I certainly can't. Um, People should only eat store-bought mushrooms. Do not, let's just put it right here, not from yards, gardens, or parks. So we have comprehended this passage very well. We're taking a step at a time. This does take a while, for sure, but this is what learning to read is all about. And I need a different color. Let me do orange. As you do this more and more, you will get better and better at this process. And did I just mess up? I did. I'm sorry. I had already used pink to highlight this one. So let me go back and do that again. I'm trying to match these colors up so you can see the structure of the details in this passage. This is paragraph 3. I'll use that orange for this next one. Even some houseplants are dangerous. Be sure that young children and pets do not eat the leaves of houseplants. They may be poisonous. The following common houseplants have poisonous leaves. So let's put those in a space. I'm going to just go right here. Paragraph 4, some houseplants are poisonous. Okay. And then let's list those details right down here. Do not eat the leaves. They are especially dangerous to kids and pets because they are more likely to eat the leaves. We've said they're poisonous, so here are some examples. Philodendron, it's a common houseplant. Hyacinths, which are one of my favorites. They smell so good. Peace lilies. That was reminded me of a snake. I don't really care for peace lilies. And then, of course, at Christmas time, we see a lot of poinsettias. Those are, I've heard, especially dangerous to cats. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that. So, main idea of this one is that some of our houseplants are poisonous, and the details to support that are, there's that big red line again. I have no idea where that's coming from. It has to be when I put pressure on the tablet. Let me just start over on this one. I think I'm mashing down too hard with my pencil, but I need to figure out how to make that not happen. Okay, one more. Plants and fungi may lack claws and fangs, yet some are irritating, dangerous, and even deadly. Avoid risks by finding out more about poisonous plants and fungi that may be around you. I'm going to, I think, come up with my own main idea on this one, mostly just for practice doing that. So paragraph 5 is telling me that dangerous plants are all around us. Now, they don't have claws or fangs. They can't bite or scratch. But let me go back here and get some info. And I'm going to use a blue on this one. They do not have claws and fangs, but they are irritating, dangerous, and deadly. Avoid risks by finding out more about the plants. So they're telling me that they don't bite or scratch or claw, but they are irritating. They make me itch. They make me cough. Dangerous. We already said that in our main idea. And they can be deadly. They tell me to avoid risks. Excuse me. By learning about the plants around you. Becoming educated about what is around you. So here are the details. And now we are ready to come up with this main idea. In that last paragraph 5, we could almost use that as our main idea. Let's get a topic though. 2 words. What is this passage, the whole thing, about? Poison ivy, poison oak, datura, wild mushrooms, household plants. What are they telling me about? They're telling me about plants, but that's not quite in the Goldilocks zone. Plants could be very broad. They're telling me about dangerous plants. And they're telling me that these dangerous plants are found in places all around us. And cause serious problems. Okay, that's just my main idea. You could phrase it, write it any way you want to. That is one example of a main idea. Okay, let's try the questions. And I'm going to try to make a picture. Maybe. And paste it here. Oh boy. Let me crop this bad boy. And we will try to fit that in there. I may not be able to do that. I want to crop. Let's try this. Oh boy. Let me try another thing here. Let me just tell it that I want to pick up my handwriting. These Apple products are relatively new to me. I learned on a PC, so I am learning as I go on, here we go. That'll work. You have to tell it very specifically what you want it to do, and then it will do just about anything. Okay, let's take a look at our questions here. Number 1 says, which detail supports the main idea of paragraph 2? You see why in this example I label my paragraphs. So here is paragraph 2. It's talking about datura, which is called Jimson weed, thorn apple. You crush it, it affects eyesight, breathing, and heart rate. And if you eat it, it can cause coma and death. So which detail supports the idea that datura is dangerous? Is it that it's also called Jimson weed or thorn apple? That's true, but that doesn't indicate danger of any kind. So let me just write that. There's no danger with the other names. Datura is another type of poisonous plant. Well, that is our main idea. So we don't want to pick that one because that's the main idea. We're looking for something that supports the main idea. We're looking for a detail. Datura can be found in everyday places. That's true, but that doesn't talk about the danger of the plant. Datura can cause unconsciousness and even death. There it is. Those are the reasons that Datura is dangerous, or part of the reason. Which detail best supports the idea that some wild mushrooms are poisonous? Poisonous wild mushrooms. People should eat only mushrooms from the store. Mushrooms grow wild in yards, gardens, and parks. That does not mention poison, so I can eliminate that one. It's not talking about danger or poison. Harmless mushrooms and poisonous mushrooms look alike. That is true. People can become violently ill or die from eating them, which poisonous mushrooms. That's a very good option as well. But let's I think it's D, but let's look at this. A does not mention poison. It just says that we should eat only mushrooms from the store. That's true, but it's not really mentioning it implies danger, but it doesn't mention or describe the danger specifically. Harmless mushrooms and poisonous mushrooms look alike. Again, that's true, but it's not describing danger in that one either. D is the one that describes the danger. You get violently ill or you die from eating them. Doesn't get much worse than dying from eating them. I want to call your attention to something in this question, and they've even underlined it. Because all of these support the idea that wild mushrooms are poisonous, except B. But the one that really drives home the danger is D. And let me remind you of something. I'll do that at the end. Which main idea does this description below support? Have you ever touched a plant in a park or in someone's yard and then had blisters and itching the next day? Okay. So we're looking for blisters and itching. Which plants go with blisters and itching? Dangerous plants such as poison ivy and poison oak can be found in everyday places. Harmless mushrooms are difficult to tell from poisonous mushrooms since they look alike. Children and pets might eat the poisonous leaves of houseplants. The poison of the datura can affect someone's eyesight and heartbeat. Which one is associated with blisters and itching? That is A. Poison ivy and poison oak. What type of poisonous plant can be found inside a home? Well, inside a home is another way of saying houseplant. And if we look back at our notes on the houseplant, right there, which one of our choices is mentioned? There's that peace lily. So that one just matches up to what we read in the story. Okay, I wanted to come back to this. I thought there might be more of these. Look at this right here. In our main idea, you see the word dangerous. Even in our topic, the word dangerous. Look down here at my questions at how many places we talk about danger. Do you see that theme going on there? Danger, danger, no danger. Look for that common theme. Look for the answers that are alike in the fact that they all talk about dangerous plants. Okay, that brings us to the end of this lesson. It's a little more difficult than what we have been seeing, but that's good. That means that our skills are building. We're learning as we go. And in the next lesson, I was going to look ahead. I believe we get into some text structures in the next lesson, which will be a good one. You will learn a lot in that chapter as well. So I will see you soon. Let me remind you of one thing. I haven't been doing this, but remember that reading gives you some place to be when you have to stay where you are. We've been to lots of different places. Today we went to poisonous plants around us, but it lets your mind go to places that you can't travel to. So I hope that you enjoy reading and that you're finding things that you enjoy to read every day. I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.